The night was calm, and the stars sparkled like scattered diamonds over Earth's skies. For the first time in years, there was no war, no conflict among nations. It was peaceful, almost too peaceful. Somewhere in a distant corner of space, this peace was about to shatter. A static-filled message broke through Earth's communication networks, a sound so distorted it made scientists freeze in confusion. It wasn't coming from any Earth-made satellite or space station. It came from deep space. Distress signal received, an officer in the Global Space Defense Command announced, his voice shaking. He turned to his superior. It's from Vega 7. The control room fell silent. Vega 7 was one of Earth's first colonies outside the solar system. The station had gone quiet months ago, and everyone had feared the worst. Now it was speaking again, but it wasn't good news. The signal played on the screen. A man appeared, his face covered in sweat, eyes wide with terror. His voice cracked as he spoke. This is Vega 7. We're under attack. They're here. They're destroying everything, killing everyone. They can't be stopped. There. Static interrupted the message before a chilling screech echoed through the speakers. Behind the man, something massive and shadowy loomed. The screen went black. In the control room, no one dared to speak. Then the screen lit up again, this time with a map of the galaxy. Red dots appeared, showing the planets and colonies that had already been destroyed. One officer muttered in disbelief, "They're heading straight for Earth." Across the globe, panic spread like wildfire. News anchors repeated the same horrifying words. Alien invasion confirmed. Cities erupted in chaos as people flooded the streets, desperate for answers, desperate for safety. But no amount of running would save them from what was coming. High above Earth, the first signs of the alien fleet appeared. Gigantic ships shaped like claws drifted into orbit, their metallic surfaces gleaming under the sun. The alien race known as the Skrillex had arrived. The Skrillex were infamous across the galaxy, a race that left destruction in their wake. Every planet they attacked became a wasteland. For centuries, they had been unstoppable. Now, their blood-red banners hung in Earth's orbit, a silent warning of what was about to come. Far beneath the surface of the chaos, in a hidden underground facility, Earth's leaders gathered. This wasn't the first time they had prepared for the worst. In secret, they had been working on a plan, an answer to any alien threat. The walls of the command center hummed with energy as scientists and generals stood before a massive steel door. One of the scientists stepped forward and pressed a button. The door hissed open, revealing rows of glowing chambers. Inside each chamber stood a figure, humanoid but larger, stronger, and far more dangerous. These were the Titans, humanity's ultimate weapon. Genetically engineered and cybernetically enhanced, they were designed for one purpose: to fight and win against any enemy, no matter how advanced. At the center of the room stood Commander Ethan Cross, the leader of the Titan program. He was tall, with sharp features and piercing gray eyes that seemed to see right through anyone who spoke to him. Ethan was no ordinary man. He was one of the first Titans, a soldier who had seen countless battles, but carried a secret burden. "They're here," a general said, pointing to the screen that displayed the Skrillex fleet above Earth. "This is why we created the Titans. You're our last line of defense." Ethan nodded. His voice was calm but filled with authority as he addressed the other Titans. "We've trained for this. We've prepared for this. The Skrillex think we're weak. They think we're just another species to conquer, but they don't know what we're capable of." His words echoed through the room, filling it with an almost electric energy. One by one, the Titans stepped out of their chambers, their armor gleaming and their weapons ready. They were more than soldiers. They were humanity's last hope. In the skies above, the first wave of Skrillex ships descended. Massive beams of light shot down, leveling buildings and sending shockwaves through the cities. Humanity's conventional defenses were no match for the alien technology. Fighter jets crumbled, missiles were intercepted, and cities burned. But just as it seemed all hope was lost, a new signal broadcasted from Earth. It was a message of defiance, spoken in Ethan Cross's steady voice. "This is Commander Ethan Cross of the Titan program. To the Skrillex fleet. You've made a mistake coming here. Earth is not a defenseless planet. We will fight. And we will win." The message wasn't just for the aliens. It was for humanity. Across the globe, people paused, watching their screens as the Titans launched into battle. The skies above Earth lit up as the first wave of Titans clashed with the Skrillex. The final moments of this chapter showed the Titans in action, moving faster than any human, their weapons tearing through the alien invaders. The Skrillex faltered for the first time in centuries, their ships retreating momentarily to regroup. But as the camera zoomed in on one of the Skrillex commanders, it was clear this was far from over. With a guttural snarl, the commander issued an order in their alien tongue. More ships began descending, and a shadow larger than any seen before loomed over Earth's horizon. The battle had just begun. What do you think? Let me know if you'd like to add more depth or suspense. The battlefield above Earth was chaos. The skies, once blue, were now filled with streaks of fire and smoke as the first wave of Titans launched against the Skrillex. Humanity's secret weapons, the super soldiers of Project Titan, were no ordinary fighters. Each Titan was a walking arsenal, their armor a blend of human ingenuity and alien technology salvaged from past encounters. But the Skrillex were prepared. Their ships moved with deadly precision, releasing swarms of smaller attack drones that filled the air with a deafening hum. The Titans had barely reached orbit when the first wave of drones descended upon them. Commander Ethan Cross's voice came through the comms, calm but commanding. "Titans, form up. Stick to your training. They're fast, but we're faster." The Titans responded in perfect synchronization. They moved like a single organism, weaving through the swarm with incredible agility. Ethan led the charge, his dual plasma blades slicing through the drones like paper. Each strike was precise, each movement calculated. Behind him, Titan Varga unleashed a barrage of energy bolts, taking out entire clusters of drones. "These things are like flies," he growled, his voice crackling with static. Titan Leah, the team's tech specialist, hacked into the drone network mid-battle. "I'm in," she announced. "Their command systems are sloppy. Typical Skrillex arrogance." With a few keystrokes, she sent a command that turned half the drones against their own fleet. For a brief moment, it seemed the tide was turning. The Skrillex ships faltered as their own drones began attacking them. Cheers erupted from Earth's command center as the live feed showed the Titans pushing forward. But then, the Skrillex revealed their true strength. From the largest ship in their fleet, a massive door opened. Out of the darkness emerged a monstrosity, the Harbinger. It wasn't just a weapon. It was alive. A towering biomechanical creature with glowing red eyes and a body that pulsed with alien energy. The sight of the Harbinger silenced the battlefield. Even the Titans hesitated as the creature descended toward Earth. Its presence was overwhelming, its sheer size casting a shadow over entire cities. "What is that?" Leia whispered, her voice trembling. Ethan didn't hesitate. "It's their trump card. Focus fire on the Harbinger. We take it down, or we lose everything." The Titans redirected their attacks, but the Harbinger was unlike anything they had faced before. Its body absorbed their weapons' fire, the energy only making it stronger. With a single swipe of its massive arm, it sent two Titans hurtling into the void of space. "Fall back," Ethan ordered. "Regroup on me. We need a new strategy." Back on Earth, panic spread as the Harbinger's effects began to manifest. The skies darkened, and the air grew heavy with an unnatural energy. In the Global Space Defense Command, scientists worked frantically to analyze the creature. "It's not just a weapon," one of them said. "It's altering Earth's atmosphere. If we don't stop it soon, the planet will become uninhabitable." Earth's leaders turned to the Titan program's chief scientist, Dr. Elena Graves. She had designed the Titans and knew them better than anyone. "Can they stop it?" one general asked, his voice desperate. Dr. Graves hesitated. The Titans were built to fight soldiers, not something like this. But if anyone can adapt, it's Ethan. In orbit, Ethan's team regrouped behind the remains of a destroyed Skrillex cruiser. "We can't win this fight in the open," he said. "Leah, can you find a weak point in that thing?" Leah's hands flew across her console as she scanned the Harbinger. "It's protected by some kind of energy field. But wait, there's a core near its chest. It's drawing power from the Skrillex mothership. If we can overload it, then we can bring it down," Ethan finished. "All right, here's the plan." Varga draw its attention. "Keep it busy. Leia, find a way to disrupt that energy field. The rest of you, stick with me. We're taking the fight to the Skrillex mothership." The Titans moved into action. Varga charged toward the Harbinger, firing everything he had. "Come on, you ugly piece of scrap. Over here." The creature roared, its massive form turning to face him. Meanwhile, Ethan led a small team toward the Skrillex mothership. The ship was heavily guarded, but the Titans were relentless. They tore through the alien defenses, their every move a display of brutal efficiency. Inside the mothership, the Titans found the power core that controlled the Harbinger. It was massive, glowing with the same red energy that pulsed through the creature. "This is it," Ethan said. "Leah, shut it down." Leah connected her equipment to the core, her fingers flying as she worked to override the Skrillex systems. "Almost there. Just keep them off me." Ethan and the others held the line as waves of Skrillex soldiers poured into the room. The fight was brutal, but the Titans held their ground. Finally, Leah shouted, "Got it." The power core began to overload, its glow turning from red to white. Back on Earth, the Harbinger faltered. Its movements became sluggish, its energy field flickering. Varga took the opportunity to unleash a final barrage, his weapon striking the creature's exposed core. With a deafening roar, the Harbinger collapsed, its massive form crashing to the ground. Cheers erupted across the battlefield, but the victory was short-lived. Ethan's voice came through the comms, grim and steady. "The Harbinger is down, but the mothership is still operational. This war isn't over yet." The episode ended with a shot of the Titans standing victorious on the battlefield, their armor scared, but their resolve unbroken. Above them, the Skrillex mothership loomed, a reminder that the true battle was yet to come. Varga unleashed a barrage of firepower, clearing a path through the Skrillex soldiers. "Is that all you've got?" he shouted, laughing as he fought. Jace covered the rear, his movements precise as he took down enemies with deadly efficiency. Leia worked furiously to hack into the ship's systems, her fingers flying over her console. "I'm in," she announced. "I've found the path to the power core, but it's heavily guarded. We'll need to fight our way through." Ethan nodded. "Then we keep moving. No stopping." As the team pushed deeper into the mothership, the resistance grew stronger. The Skrillex seemed to anticipate their every move, forcing the Titans to adapt on the fly. Finally, they reached a massive chamber where the power core was located. The room was bathed in a blinding red light, the core pulsing with energy. But before they could approach it, the doors slammed shut behind them, and a deep, guttural voice echoed through the chamber. "You should not have come here," the voice snarled. The Titans turned to see a massive Skrillex commander emerge from the shadows, his armor gleaming with dark energy. Ethan raised his weapon, his expression cold and determined. "We didn't come to talk." The battle for the power core had begun. Let me know if you'd like more twists or a deeper focus on the characters. The massive Skrillex commander towered over the Titans, its armor glowing with streaks of pulsating red energy. Its voice reverberated through the chamber, low and menacing. "You dare step into our heart? You are nothing but insects," it growled, raising a weapon that looked more like a living creature than a machine, a blade fused with glowing tendrils that hissed and writhed. Ethan tightened his grip on his plasma blades, stepping forward. "We've already crushed your Harbinger. You're next." The Skrillex commander laughed. A chilling, guttural sound. "The Harbinger was nothing. You've only proven that your kind is worthy of being broken, personally." Before Ethan could respond, the commander lunged with terrifying speed, its blade slashing toward him. Ethan blocked the attack, sparks flying as their weapons collided. "Titans, move. Take out the core," Ethan shouted as he pushed back against the alien strength. The room erupted into chaos. Skrillex soldiers poured into the chamber from all directions, surrounding the Titans in a storm of energy blasts and razor-sharp weapons. The air was thick with the sounds of battle, metal clashing, weapons firing, and the guttural cries of the enemy. Varga's stand. Varga charged into the fray, his heavy weapon blazing. Each shot from his cannon sent shockwaves through the room, tearing through Skrillex forces with brutal efficiency. "Come on," he bellowed. "Let's see what you're made of." A group of Skrillex drones swarmed him, their claws slashing at his armor. He roared and activated his suit's energy shield, sending the drones flying. "You call that a fight?" Despite his bravado, the enemies kept coming, and Varga's ammo reserves were depleting fast. Leah's race against time. While the others fought, Leah dashed toward the control console near the core. She ducked under a barrage of enemy fire, her smaller frame allowing her to weave through the chaos. Her hands trembled as she connected her hacking device to the alien system. "Keep them off me," she shouted, her voice tight with panic. Jace appeared at her side, his twin blades spinning with deadly precision as he cut down any enemy that got too close. "You're clear. Just focus." Leah's fingers flew over her console, her eyes scanning the alien symbols as she deciphered their meaning. "The core's shield is connected to a secondary system. I need 2 minutes to overload it." "We don't have 2 minutes," Jace yelled, slicing through another wave of enemies. "Then stall them." Leah snapped, sweat dripping down her face as she worked furiously. Ethan's duel. Meanwhile, Ethan was locked in a deadly duel with the Skrillex commander. The alien was fast, its movements almost too quick to track. But Ethan was faster. Years of training and enhancements allowed him to anticipate its strikes, countering with precision. "You're strong," the commander hissed, its blade slamming into Ethan's. "But you're alone." Ethan smirked, sidestepping a strike and slashing across the alien's armor. "That's where you're wrong." As if on cue, Varga launched a grenade that exploded near the commander, forcing it to stagger. Ethan seized the opportunity, driving his plasma blade into the alien's shoulder. The commander roared in pain but retaliated with a powerful backhand that sent Ethan crashing into a wall. The turning point. Leah's voice rang out over the comms. "I've got it. The shield is down." The Titans turned toward the core, which now pulsed unprotected in the center of the room. But before they could act, the Skrillex commander roared in fury, its body glowing with a dark energy. It raised its arms, and tendrils of red light erupted from its body, striking the walls and floor. The entire room began to tremble as the core surged with unstable energy. "It's overloading," Leah shouted. "We need to destroy it now, or this whole ship will blow, and take Earth with it." Ethan staggered to his feet, blood trickling from a cut on his forehead. "Jace, Varga, cover Leah. I'll handle this." "You can't fight that thing alone," Jace protested. "I'm not asking," Ethan said firmly, his eyes locked on the commander. "Go." Reluctantly, the others obeyed, fighting their way toward the core. The final clash. Ethan faced the Skrillex commander one-on-one, his every movement focused and deliberate. The alien strikes were wild and furious, fueled by desperation. "You cannot win," the commander snarled. "Your planet will burn, your people will kneel." Ethan dodged a blow and countered with a powerful strike that severed the alien's weapon arm. "Not today," he said coldly. With a final, powerful leap, Ethan drove his plasma blades into the commander's chest. The alien let out a deafening roar before collapsing in a heap of smoke and sparks. The core's destruction. Now, Ethan. Leia screamed. Ethan sprinted toward the core as the others cleared the way. He activated the explosive charge he carried, a last resort device designed for situations exactly like this. As he planted the charge on the core, the Skrillex defenses surged, and a room filled with energy blasts. "We're out of time," Ethan shouted. "Fall back." The Titans retreated toward their transport ship, dodging explosions and enemy fire. Just as they reached the docking bay, the explosive detonated. The core erupted in a blinding flash of light, sending shockwaves through the ship. The Titans barely made it back to their transport as the mothership began to collapse. From Earth's surface, people watched in awe as the massive Skrillex mothership disintegrated in the sky, breaking apart in a fiery explosion. Cheers erupted across the planet as humanity realized they had survived another day. But as the Titans regrouped aboard their ship, Ethan stared out the window, his expression grim. "This isn't over," he said softly. "They'll be back. And next time, they'll be ready. What do you think? Let me know if you'd like to adjust or expand anything." The destruction of the mothership was a victory, but the Titans knew the war wasn't over. The massive explosion lit up Earth's skies, but Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that this had been too easy. The Titan's transport ship cruised back toward Earth, the crew quiet and reflective. Leia stared at her console, reviewing data from the mothership before it exploded. "Something's not right," she muttered, her brow furrowed. Ethan turned to her. "What do you mean?" "I managed to extract some files before the core went critical," she said. "The Skrillex weren't just attacking us. They were stalling us." Varga leaned against the wall, his arms crossed. "Stalling us? For what?" Leia hesitated, her voice dropping to a whisper. "To move something. A weapon, maybe. Or reinforcements." Ethan's stomach tightened. "Did you find out where they moved it?" Leia nodded slowly. "It's heading toward Earth. And it's massive." Back on Earth, the Titans barely had time to land before alarms blared across the Global Space Defense Command. Ethan and his team rushed into the command center, where holograms of Earth's orbit showed a new threat. Dr. Elena Graves stood at the center of the chaos, her usually calm demeanor shaken. "It's a war fleet," she said, pointing to the display. "Hundreds of Skrillex ships, and they're already entering the atmosphere." The hologram zoomed in, revealing a massive structure at the center of the fleet. It was larger than the Harbinger and the mothership combined, bristling with weapons and surrounded by a protective swarm of smaller ships. "What is that thing?" Jace asked, his voice filled with dread. Dr. Graves shook her head. "We don't know, but it's emitting a strange energy signature. Whatever it is, it's not just a ship. It's alive." Ethan's jaw tightened. "We need to stop it before it reaches the surface. If that thing lands, we're done." The fleet arrives. The skies over Earth turned dark as the Skrillex fleet descended. Cities around the globe erupted in chaos as alien ships rained destruction on military bases, communication hubs, and power grids. Ethan and the Titans prepared for battle, their armor and weapons upgraded with the latest tech. But even with their enhancements, the odds were stacked against them. "We've fought worse," Varga said, trying to lighten the mood as he loaded his weapons. "Right?" Leia shot him a look. "No, we haven't." The team launched into orbit aboard a new prototype ship, the Defiance. Smaller and faster than the enemy fleet, it was equipped with cloaking technology and a powerful railgun. Their mission was simple: reach the massive alien structure, infiltrate it, and destroy its core, if it even had one. A deadly gauntlet. The Defiance weaved through the chaos of the battlefield, dodging enemy fire and outmaneuvering Skrillex drones. Leia worked tirelessly at her console, scanning for weaknesses in the alien fleet's formation. "There," she shouted, marking a gap in the enemy lines. "That's our way in." Ethan nodded, piloting the ship with precision. Varga, get on the railgun. We'll need cover. The Defiance dove into the heart of the fleet, its cloaking shield barely holding under the strain of enemy fire. Varga unleashed a barrage of shots from the railgun, taking out Skrillex ships one by one. "We're not going to make it at this rate," Jace yelled, his hands gripping the ship's controls as he fired countermeasures. Ethan's voice was calm but firm. "We'll make it. Hold steady." As they approached the massive alien structure, the energy readings spiked. The air around them crackled with electricity, and the ship's systems flickered. "What the hell is that thing doing?" Varga asked, staring at the glowing core of the structure. Laya's face went pale. "It's charging. If it fires, it could wipe out an entire continent." Infiltrating the beast, the Defiance docked onto the alien structure, its crew disembarking into a massive, labyrinthine interior. The walls pulsed with a strange, organic light, and the air was thick with a low, humming vibration. "This isn't just a ship," Leah said, her voice echoing in the eerie silence. "It's a biomechanical weapon. It's alive." Ethan led the way, his plasma blades glowing softly in the dim light. "Then we kill it, just like the others." The team moved cautiously, their footsteps muffled by the strange, fleshy floor. Skrillex soldiers appeared out of the shadows, their weapons crackling with energy. The Titans fought with precision and ferocity, their every move coordinated and deliberate. But the deeper they went, the stronger the resistance became. A terrifying revelation. As they approached the core, the Titans found themselves in a massive chamber. At its center was a glowing orb of energy, pulsating like a heartbeat. Surrounding it were dozens of alien pods, each one containing a humanoid figure. "What is this?" Jace whispered, staring in horror. Leah approached one of the pods, her eyes wide with disbelief. "They're humans." Ethan's heart sank. "What are you saying?" "They're experimenting on us," Leah said, her voice trembling. "The Skrillex aren't just fighting us. They're trying to become us. They're using our DNA to create hybrids. Super soldiers." The room suddenly shook, and the glowing orb flared brighter. A deep, guttural voice echoed through the chamber. "You have come far, Titans," it said, resonating with an unnatural, inhuman tone. "But you are too late. The evolution of your species has already begun." The orb pulsed again, and the pods began to open, releasing humanoid figures with glowing red eyes and alien armor. Ethan raised his weapon, his voice steady despite the fear clawing at him. "Titans, prepare for battle. This ends here." The fight for Earth, and humanity itself, was far from over. What do you think of this part? Let me know if you'd like to tweak anything or add more suspense. The sound of hissing steam and groaning machinery echoed through the chamber as the pods opened. One by one, the hybrid soldiers stepped out. They moved with a chilling precision, their glowing red eyes scanning the room. Each was a terrifying blend of human and Skrillex, sleek, armored bodies, powerful limbs, and an air of unnatural menace. "Laya," Ethan said quietly, his voice edged with urgency. "How many are there?" She stared at her scanner, her face pale. "At least 50, maybe more." Varga let out a low whistle, adjusting his weapon. 50 of those things. That's a bad day, even by our standards." "They're not just soldiers," Leah added, her voice trembling. "They're faster, stronger, smarter, and they're connected to the core. If we destroy it, we might take them down too." Ethan nodded. "Then we stick to the plan. We fight our way to the core, plant the charges, and blow this place to hell." The hybrids moved as one, their glowing eyes locking onto the Titans. Then, without warning, they attacked. The clash begins. The hybrids were relentless. Faster than the Skrillex soldiers, and far more coordinated, they swarmed the Titans in perfect unison. Jace was the first to engage, his twin plasma blades cutting through the air. He ducked under a hybrid strike, and countered with a spinning slash that severed its arm. But the creature barely flinched, its wound sizzling as it began to heal. "They're regenerating," Jace shouted. Ethan charged into the fray, his blades blazing. "Aim for the head. Don't give them time to recover." Varga unleashed a barrage of grenades, the explosions shaking the chamber. Several hybrids went down, but more took their place, moving with an eerie mechanical grace. "They're endless," Varga growled, reloading his weapon. "We can't hold them off forever." A race against time. While the others fought, Leia worked frantically at a nearby console, her fingers flying over the alien interface. "I'm accessing the core's energy system. If I can overload it, we won't need the charges." Ethan slashed through a hybrid and turned to her. "How long?" "5 minutes," she replied, sweat dripping down her face. "We don't have 5 minutes," Jace yelled as he narrowly dodged a hybrid's claw. "Then buy me some time." Leia snapped, her voice trembling with both fear and determination. The price of survival. The hybrids began to adapt. They anticipated the Titan's movements, countering their attacks with terrifying precision. One hybrid grabbed Varga's arm, its strength nearly crushing his armor. "Get off me!" Varga roared, slamming his fist into the creature's head. The hybrid staggered, but another took its place, striking him across the chest. Ethan saw Varga falter and charged to his aid, his blades cutting through the hybrids with brutal efficiency. "You're not going down today," he said, pulling Varga to his feet. Varga grinned despite the blood trickling from his mouth. "Appreciate it, boss. Let's make these things regret being born." Leia's breakthrough. "I've got it," Leia shouted suddenly. "The core is destabilizing." The chamber trembled as the core's glow intensified, its energy pulsing erratically. The hybrids paused for a moment, as if sensing the shift. Ethan saw the opening and seized it. "Titans, fall back to the ship." "Leia, set the overload timer and move." Leia hesitated, her hands still on the console. "It's not done yet. I need 30 more seconds." "You don't have 30 seconds," Ethan yelled, slicing through another hybrid. "Now go." Reluctantly, Leia activated the timer and sprinted toward the others. The hybrids, now fully aware of the danger, surged forward in a final, desperate assault. The escape. The Titans fought their way back through the labyrinth, the walls shaking as the core's energy spiraled out of control. Skrillex drones and hybrids chased them relentlessly, their glowing eyes cutting through the darkness. "We're not going to make it," Jace shouted as the group rounded a corner, only to find more hybrids blocking their path. Ethan activated his suit's thrusters, launching himself into the air and slamming into the enemy line. "Keep moving. Don't stop." Varga threw another grenade, the explosion clearing a path. "Go. I'll hold them off." "No," Ethan barked. "We're not leaving anyone behind." With a coordinated effort, the Titans pushed through, finally reaching the docking bay where the Defiance waited. Leia sprinted up the ramp, her hands flying over the ship's controls. "Engines online. Let's go." The Titans piled into the ship, the hybrids closing in fast. As the Defiance lifted off, Ethan fired one last shot, taking out the docking bay's supports and collapsing the entrance. The core's destruction. From orbit, the Titans watched as the alien structure erupted in a massive explosion. The blast sent shockwaves through the atmosphere, tearing apart the remaining Skrillex fleet. Cheers erupted on Earth as people saw the fiery destruction in the sky. But aboard the Defiance, the Titans were silent. Ethan stood at the window, staring at the remnants of the explosion. "It's done," he said softly. "Not quite," Leia said, her voice heavy. "The files I downloaded. There are more of these structures, and they're already being deployed." Ethan turned to face his team, his expression grim. "Then we'll destroy those too, one by one, if we have to." Humanity's not backing down. As the Defiance flew back toward Earth, the Titans knew the war was far from over. The Skrillex had underestimated humanity's resolve, and they would pay the price. The chamber shook as the hybrids advanced, their red eyes glowing with an unnatural intensity. These weren't ordinary Skrillex soldiers. They were something far worse. Half-human, half-Skrillex hybrids, created with stolen DNA, moved like shadows, their bodies pulsing with strength and speed beyond anything the Titans had ever faced. Ethan tightened his grip on his plasma blades. We're not dealing with soldiers anymore. These things were made to kill us. Varga let out a grim chuckle, his railgun humming as it powered up. Good. That means they'll put up a fight worth remembering. Leah, hunched over her scanner, spoke with urgency. The hybrids are connected to the core. If we destroy it, we take them out too. But that core is putting out enough energy to level a city. Then we don't let it get the chance, Ethan said firmly. Titans, stay sharp. This ends here. The hybrids strike. Without warning, the hybrids surged forward, moving with an eerie, synchronized precision. Their movements were fluid, almost serpentine, as they closed the distance in seconds. Jace was the first to engage, his twin plasma blades flashing in the dim light. He ducked under a hybrid swing, slicing upward in a single fluid motion. The creature fell, but before Jace could catch his breath, another was on him, claws raking across his armor. They're faster than the Skrillex, Jace shouted, falling back toward Ethan. They're not just faster, Leia yelled from the console. They're learning. Ethan moved in, slamming one hybrid into the wall and slicing another in half. Then we don't give them the chance to adapt. Keep moving, fighting through the horde. The chamber turned into a battlefield as the Titans fought their way toward the core. Varga's railgun roared, sending shockwaves through the room with each shot. Hybrids fell in droves, but more kept coming, their glowing eyes never blinking, their bodies regenerating from even the most brutal wounds. Focus fire on their heads, Leia shouted. It's the only way to stop the regeneration. Varga growled as he reloaded, blood dripping from a gash on his arm. Great. More headshots, less breathing. Ethan pushed forward, his plasma blades carving a path through the chaos. Leah, how close are we to the core? Almost there, she replied, glancing at her scanner. But there's a problem. The energy levels are spiking. It's overloading. If it detonates, we're all dead. Ethan's jaw tightened. Then we shut it down before it's too late. The core's defense. The Titans burst into the core chamber, a massive, pulsating space filled with blinding light and deafening noise. At its center was the core itself, a swirling mass of energy, held in place by alien machinery and surrounded by a protective barrier. Dozens of hybrids stood between the Titans and the core, their glowing eyes fixed on the intruders. Jace let out a low whistle. That's a lot of hybrids. Ethan didn't hesitate. We've come this far. Titans, take them down. The battle was relentless. The hybrids fought with a level of coordination that made them nearly impossible to predict. Every time a Titan took one down, another stepped in to attack, their strikes coming faster and harder. Leia worked desperately at a nearby console, trying to hack into the core's systems. I can destabilize the core, but it's going to take time. How much time? Ethan shouted, slicing through a hybrid that lunged at her. 5 minutes, Leia replied, her voice trembling. We don't have 5 minutes, Varga growled, unloading a grenade into a group of hybrids. The explosion sent them flying, but more replaced them almost instantly. A desperate gamble. The hybrids began to adapt, their attacks becoming more precise. One tackled Varga, pinning him to the ground. Another lunged at Leia, claws raised. Ethan intercepted it, driving his blade through its chest. Leah, forget the timer. Can you shut it down now? It's too unstable, she shouted back. If I rush it, the core might implode. Do it anyway, Ethan ordered. We'll find a way out. Leah hesitated, her hands hovering over the controls. This could kill us all. Ethan glanced at his team. Varga bleeding but still fighting. Jace holding off 2 hybrids at once, and Leia trembling with fear but still determined. We're not leaving until it's done. Finish it. With a deep breath, Leia pressed the final command. The core's energy surged, the entire chamber shaking violently. The final escape. Core destabilized. Leia shouted, "We've got 2 minutes before this whole place goes up." The Titans fought their way back through the labyrinth, the walls collapsing around them. The hybrids pursued relentlessly, their glowing eyes cutting through the smoke and debris. Varga limped as he fired over his shoulder. "I don't think these guys got the memo that we're leaving." Ethan grabbed Varga's arm, pulling him forward. "Keep moving." "Leia, how much farther?" "The shit's just ahead," she replied, sprinting through the corridor. The Titans reached the docking bay just as the core's energy reached critical levels. They boarded the Defiance and launched into space, the ship's engines straining as it sped away from the doomed structure. Behind them, the alien fortress erupted in a massive explosion, the shockwave rippling through space and tearing apart the remaining hybrids and Skrillex ships. Victory with a cost. Cheers erupted across Earth as the destruction of the fortress was broadcast worldwide. The Titans had won another battle, but aboard the Defiance, the mood was somber. Ethan sat in silence, staring out the window at the debris field. "We stopped the hybrids. For now." Leia approached him, holding a data drive. "Before the core went critical, I downloaded everything I could. Ethan, there are more hybrid facilities, dozens of them, and they're already active." Ethan's grip tightened on the armrest. "Then we keep fighting. Whatever it takes, we'll finish this war." The Defiance flew back toward Earth, battered but unbroken. The Titans knew the fight wasn't over, but they were ready for whatever came next. The Defiance hovered in orbit above Earth, its crew staring grimly at the holographic display in the war room. Leia's scans had revealed the unthinkable: 30 hybrid production facilities scattered across the galaxy, each churning out armies far larger and deadlier than the Titans had faced. "The Skrillex weren't planning a war," Ethan said, his voice cold. "They were planning extermination." Leia zoomed in on one of the marked locations. "This is their primary facility. It's producing hybrids faster than the others combined. If we destroy it, we'll cripple their entire operation." Varga leaned back in his chair, arms crossed. "Sounds great, but look at the size of that fleet guarding it. We're talking thousands of ships, and that's not counting whatever defenses they've got on the ground." Ethan's gaze was hard. "If we don't stop them now, there won't be an Earth left to save. This is it, the final push. We hit them with everything we've got." The rallying call. The Titans transmitted a call to arms, rallying every remaining human ship, soldier, and colony to join the assault. For the first time in years, humanity united under one banner, ready to fight for survival. As the fleet assembled near Earth, Leia addressed the crew. "This isn't just about destroying the hybrids. If we fail, humanity falls. No one else is coming to save us." Jace grinned, his usual bravado returning. No pressure or anything. Varga smirked. "You're just excited to blow something up." Ethan stood at the front, his voice steady and commanding. "This isn't the end. It's the beginning of something better. For Earth, for all of us, let's show the Skrillex what happens when they mess with humanity." Cheers erupted from the crew. The Titans were ready. The battle for the hybrid core. The combined human fleet jumped to the Skrillex stronghold, emerging in the shadow of the massive hybrid production facility. The sight was staggering. Thousands of Skrillex ships, automated defense turrets, and enormous carrier vessels swarmed around the station like a hive of hornets. "Titans," Ethan said, his voice calm despite the chaos. "This is where we make our stand. Leia, keep the fleet coordinated. Varga, Jace with me. We're taking the fight to the ground." The Defiance weaved through enemy fire, its shields flickering under the barrage. The human fleet held its own, blasting through enemy formations with a ferocity born of desperation. The Defiance broke through the Skrillex lines and descended toward the planet, dodging anti-aircraft fire as it approached the core facility. The final infiltration. The Titans landed in the heart of enemy territory, the ground swarming with hybrids and Skrillex soldiers. The air was thick with the sound of battle. Explosions, gunfire, and the roar of charging hybrids. Ethan led the charge, his plasma blades a blur as he cut through the enemy ranks. Jace covered him, his twin blades slicing through any hybrid that got too close. Varga unleashed a hail of grenades, clearing a path toward the facility's entrance. "I hope you've got a plan, boss, because this is getting messy." Ethan grinned despite the chaos. "The plan's simple. We blow up the core, then get out alive." "Alive is optional at this point," Jace muttered, dodging a hybrid's claw. Leah hacked into the facility's systems, her fingers flying over the console. "I'm in, but the core's defenses are on another level. I need time to disable them." "We'll buy you that time," Ethan said, his voice firm. "Titans, hold the line." The core's last stand. As Leah worked, the Titans faced wave after wave of hybrids. The creatures were faster, stronger, and more coordinated than ever, their glowing eyes filled with a single, chilling purpose: destroy the intruders. Ethan's movements were a blur of precision, his blades striking with deadly accuracy. Jace fought beside him, his usual cocky grin replaced with grim determination. Varga held the rear, his railgun cutting down enemies with thunderous blasts. "Leah, whatever you're doing, do it faster," Jace shouted as a hybrid knocked him to the ground. "I'm working as fast as I can," she snapped, sweat dripping from her forehead. Finally, Leia's console beeped. "I've got it. The core's exposed. Ethan, it's all yours." The sacrifice. Ethan sprinted toward the core, dodging hybrid attacks as he planted the explosives. The chamber shook violently as the core's energy surged, reacting to the intrusion. "We've got 60 seconds before this place blows," Ethan said through the comms. "Everyone, fall back to the ship." The Titans fought their way back to the Defiance, but as they reached the entrance, a swarm of hybrids blocked their path. Varga growled, hefting his last grenade. "Go. I'll hold them off." "No," Ethan shouted. "We all leave together." Varga shook his head, a sad smile on his face. "Not this time, boss. Somebody's got to cover your exit. Besides, I've always wanted to go out with a bang." Before Ethan could stop him, Varga charged into the swarm, detonating his grenade. The explosion cleared the path, but at a terrible cost. "Varga," Jace shouted, his voice breaking. "We don't have time." Leia cried, pulling Jace toward the ship. The final explosion. The Defiance launched just as the core exploded, the shockwave consuming the facility and every Skrillex ship in the area. The Titans watched in silence as the explosion lit up the void, the hybrid threat finally eradicated. But the victory was bittersweet. Varga's sacrifice weighed heavily on them, a reminder of the cost of war. A new beginning. Back on Earth, humanity celebrated the Titans as heroes. The Skrillex invasion was over, and the hybrid program was destroyed. But the Titans knew the fight wasn't just about survival. It was about proving that humanity would never back down. Ethan stood before a crowd, his voice steady and resolute. "We've lost much, but we gained something greater. Unity, strength, hope. The Skrillex thought they could break us. They were wrong. Humanity stands tall, and we always will." As the crowd erupted into cheers, the Titans looked to the stars. The war was over, but their mission was clear: to protect humanity, no matter the cost.